Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Crisp by Kristen. Today we're in the kitchen diving into the joy of a Sunday roast featuring chuck beef. In this braised and slow cooked recipe, we start by generously seasoning our beef with a homemade dry rub. Then the next step involves a leisurely journey in a liquid bath of savory goodness where your Dutch oven does all the heavy lifting, gradually transforming beef into a juicy, flavorful centerpiece. Follow along for a fuss-free approach to a perfect Sunday meal, fueling that game day excitement and hosting your family and friends. Let's get to it. We're going to start by adding all of our dry seasoning to a bowl to make that homemade dry rub. And then we're going to mix it up and make sure everything's combined, set it aside, and then generously salt your meat. And now I'm going to cover all sides of the meat with that dry rub. Okay, so I melted about 2 tablespoons of butter in a Dutch oven, and now I'm going to start to sear my meat. When searing your meat, you want to make sure you do it in batches and avoid overcrowding the pan. An overcrowded pan equals moisture, and moisture takes away from that perfectly golden crust that you're looking for. Okay, so now that my meat is all browned, I'm going to just let it sit for a minute while I make the bath for what it's going to cook in. For the braising liquid, we're going to use a broth. I'm using vegetable, but you can use chicken or beef. Then carrots, I'm going to butcher this, Worcestershire sauce, shallot, red wine, and tomato paste. My meat is resting, and I added about a tablespoon of butter to my pan, and I'm going to just cook my shallots and carrots for a few minutes until they soften. And this is really where the magic happens because the carrots are adding the sweetness, and the stock is providing depth, and the wine is infusing the richness, and the tomato paste really brings that extra savory kick. My pot is boiling, and I'm going to put all that meat back into the pot. Okay, I'm going to put my lid on and simmer this for about 3 hours on a low heat. It smells so good already. My favorite things about making a roast is that your entire house smells so good. Can't wait. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 3 hours, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes with the top off to let a lot of that water sort of boil off and the liquid to reduce. But it smells so good. All right, I just pulled this out of the pot, and look how juicy and delicious this looks. We have to see this again in slow motion. This meat is ready to be transformed into sandwiches, no doubt that it's your ticket for days of delicious meals or feeding a hungry crowd with ease. And there you have it, super simple way to feed a crowd, or if you want to have leftovers for the week, this is the meal to make. And it only gets better as the days go on. And if I can give you just one piece of advice, if you give yourself enough time, after about the 3.5 hour mark when it's all ready, you can pop it in the fridge for about 8 hours or overnight. All the fat will rise to the top, and then you can scoop it right out and warm it up and serve. Otherwise, I really hope you make this recipe. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you like this recipe and want to see more, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Crisp by Kristen. Hit that little bell so you know every time a new recipe drops. Thanks again for stopping by, and see you soon.